E.N.D here. What's the most diabolic play you ever unleashed on an opponent? Which move made your inner demon swell with pride and left your opponent cursing your name for eternity? Was it an unexpected combo that left them utterly speechless, a perfectly timed counterspell that dismantled their entire game plan, or perhaps a devastating board wipe that paved the way for your inevitable victory? Every now and then I host a Commander game night at my place with my usual friends. We gather to play two-headed Commander, indulge in junk food, enjoy some drinks, and most importantly immerse ourselves in fierce competition as we strategize, outwit, and outplay one another. Let me tell you, we take these games very seriously, extremely seriously. Losing, it's not an option for anyone at the table. My opponent, my nemesis, and the biggest threat at the table plays Slivers, a highly competitive Sliver deck packed with all the essential pieces, including the valuable Sliver Queen. Once this deck gains momentum, it's pure chaos, and if it goes unchecked, it's game over for everyone. And he had everything set. His board was stacked with all the best game-winning slivers. His commander, Sliver Overlord, stood at the helm, flanked by the mighty Sliver Queen, churning out more slivers at will. Sliver Hive Lord granted his entire army indestructible, Crystalline Sliver gave them Shroud, and Sliver Legion boosted their power exponentially. Even the first Sliver was in play, cascading chaos into every Sliver spell he casted. You can only imagine the overwhelming board state he had. One more turn and it would have been all over. On the other hand, I play Simic, green and blue, a deck built around big creatures, massive card draw, and a whole arsenal of counters. And honestly, I always leave 2 islands untapped, even if it's just a bluff. Within my colors lies a sliver that, let's be honest, no competitive sliver deck would ever consider playing. Dormant Sliver. For 2/1 green and 1 blue, Dormant Sliver gives all slivers Defender and allows its controller to draw a card whenever a sliver enters the battlefield. And of course, I include this card for one very specific reason: to throw it down against him and his overpowered sliver deck. Watching his unstoppable army suddenly becomes a wall of immovable defenders, absolute satisfaction. It's my turn and I'm staring down a massive sliver army, indestructible, can't be targeted, can't be countered, and flying, a nightmare on the battlefield. I need a solution and fast, so I cast Dormant Sliver. Dormant Sliver is an old school sliver and its effect applies to all slivers on the battlefield, not just mine. It gives every sliver, including my opponent's defender. Suddenly, my opponent's unstoppable army is grounded. They can't attack, no matter how powerful they are. The best assembled sliver army in existence, brought to a standstill by a sleepy little sliver. Pure poetic justice. He was absolutely infuriated. His unstoppable sliver army, ready to end the game, was completely immobilized. But it wasn't just him. We couldn't attack either. His board state was so overwhelming that any attempt to attack would have been a massacre for our creatures. 4 long hours of Commander, the game was at an unbreakable deadlock. In sheer frustration, he scooped up his cards and went home. After that unforgettable game, he decided it was time to retire his sliver deck and switch things up. Despite the frustration that night, we're still good friends and continue to face off in Commander games. The rivalry lives on, but so does the fun. So that's my most diabolic play ever pulled against an opponent. Share in the comments below the details of your most epic and unforgettable diabolic move, the one that left your opponents cursing you forever. As always, subscribe button is here. Subscribe for my channel for more and more interesting videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world. I'm out.